one, go.
Hello and welcome back. That's right, it's another stream. That's right, we do two streams a year from now on, the bracketology and the draft. Because maybe to the NBA, I've heard some people want talking about us doing an NBA live draft stream. We will try to get that in rotation.
Is
But
that
we're
me
here.
talking about it?
Thomas was telling me to do it. I've been hearing some noise about
I
it.
already
They
got
they
mock
like it's
drafts for
entertaining.
NBA. I already have 10 mock drafts for NFL. I'm ready for every draft.
We're ready.
Ready for
I don't know if I'm
every
ready for the
single
NFL
draft.
yet. Am I ready for March Madness starting tomorrow?
Tonight we
You
still
can
got
never
first
be
four
ready.
going on.
You can never be ready. So what we're doing tonight, it's pretty simple, I think. Connor has a bracket up. I hope you all can see that.
Yep.
And we're just going to be doing all the picks. I think this is a better way of doing it. I think it's more entertaining. Put in chat what you want us to pick. That will definitely influence my decision. Connor will probably be more, fact based. I am more logo, mascot, um, anti ACC based. Obviously, Syracuse missed tournament this year. I can't really say anything bad because, who knows? I might be interviewing these people one day, and if they so happen to watch the stream at some point, Jim Boeheim won't give me that luscious interview that I so covet. So I won't be saying anything bad. Besides that, some players on that team weren't as good as we thought they would be. I'm gonna leave it at that, and we're gonna be nice and positive. My end, Connor, you can handle all the negative Syracuse stuff, if you
I'm a,
want
I'm
to.
a Syracuse fan, man. I was rooting with you for him.
Um, I am, big VT guy going to this tournament. I wrote an article on Keve Aluma, their star. So I am very heavily picking VT in this
I
tournament.
have
So don't.
VT losing in the first round.
They will not stop it. All right. Well, we're
Texas is
gonna get to
good,
that.
man. Texas is
We're gonna
good.
get to that eventually. Connor has the bracket pulled up,
I do.
and we are going to start off with the first team. We're going to start up, obviously, as most people do, at with the West, go down,
Yep.
and do all those teams, and then we'll
Starting with
work our way.
Gonzaga.
So we're going to start off with Gonzaga versus the Georgia State Panthers, the champions out of the Sun Belt region. Never heard of them before. Didn't know they were a team.
I did know one stat from Georgia State, and
What
that is
what's
in their
that
games
stat?
this season, they force a turnover on a quarter of opposing teams' possessions. So 1 out of 4 possessions, they get a turnover. And that can be
No.
big if a team plays down to the competition. If Gonzaga starts
Mhm.
playing down to them, if they can get those steals and easy layups, that's a chance to win. But you have Gonzaga, who have projected top 3 prospect in Chet Holmgren. They still have Drew Timmy, who has been a beast there for years. So
Mhm.
two really good playmaking centers allows for them to have two big men pick and rolls, which is really fun to watch, and it's really hard to defense. They're
Right.
top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiencies in KenPom. They're a great team. Obviously, I do, as someone who's picked Gonzaga the last 4 years to win the tournament, I,
That's tough. Don't pick
it
them
is
this year.
tough, but I always thought their team was the best team. This is the one team that I don't think is the best team. Um,
But watch them win it all this year,
yeah,
though.
if they do, I will. I'm making a
I
Gonzaga
got I
bracket
gotta
just in
say this:
case. Just in
Gonzaga
case.
to start the season definitely wasn't the best team, but recent games they're one of the best teams in the league. They're one of the best away teams in college basketball, which I think people undervalue when it comes to the tournament.
Yeah,
Because,
because
while the tournament isn't filled with all these away games, you have to understand it's not home games either, right? These are neutral site games. And, we've seen it in the past where a team like the Virginia Cavaliers went into a game against UMBC and totally laid an egg. And it has happened, and it could happen. I'm not saying it won't, right? And that's the one thing I've learned about March Madness. Anything can happen, anything can go. But just the fact that Gonzaga's, their points per possession is really nice. Um,
do you,
their turnover percentage is not terrible. Their field goal percentage, effective field goal percentage, is 60%, which is incredibly strong. And overall, they've been the best team in college basketball this season. Looking at the ESPN Plus metrics, you know, in terms of similar games, power ratings, those are both 98 and 99% respectively. And when I look at this matchup, like, not only does Gonzaga have the tournament experience that a team like Georgia State lacks, right? But I think they have this presence at least in earlier rounds where they really do get the job done. They've struggled in the later rounds, but at least for this first matchup, I think it's pretty clear cut. If Georgia State
Yeah.
wins, kudos to them. Obviously, we're trying to get everything right here, Connor. But I got Georgia State. Do
Yeah,
we? Or
I
sorry,
just I
Gonzaga.
do just I think we're gonna put Gonzaga, but I do just want to comment on your first half of the season. They weren't as good, and my kind of argument to that is the first half of the season is when they played teams from the Power Five conferences. They didn't play a single one in the whole second half of the season, and they
Mhm.
still had a loss in the second half of the season, right before the tournament, losing to St. Mary's. Um, so, and that's a game where Timmy and Holmgren were completely shut out. But you're
Mhm.
looking at this roster. I mean, all their good matchups. Like every year, it's Gonzaga. They have a terrible conference. Why aren't they in a Big Five conference? They're always frauds. But they played the first half of the season is when they played like the Alabama game, the Duke
Mhm.
game, and the only ranked team they played was St. Mary's, who's in their conference with them, um,
Right.
and no other ranked teams. It's just pretty much washes.
Mhm.
Other than San Francisco, who you could think could take a game, but they didn't. So that's kind of I don't like that argument where they were so much better in the second half of the season. They didn't have competition in the second half of the season, and
That's
still came
fair.
up with a
That's fair.
loss.
That's fair. That's fair. But at least think in the earlier rounds, Gonzaga's a team that I think handles their business at least in the first round. Obviously, when we come back to them second round, different story. But at least in the first round, they definitely should take care of business against Georgia State. Hopefully, they do. Um, let's move on to the 8 and 9 games. Obviously, you know, based on um, historical odds. I mean, this is almost a coin toss. Um, you know,
Who are you talking to? I mean, historical odds aside, there's one team that should be clearly better than the other in most accounts. I feel like
I
if the
mean,
rumors of
yes, but
traveling plans are true, I'll make that clear.
I do think that, and so that's why I think seeding is kind of a little bit what's the word? I think it's a little bit like murky, right? Because I think some teams that are seeded as the 9 are definitely the better team of the two teams, right? So when I look at these two teams, honestly, I do like a lot of what Memphis does, right? But Connor, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I mean, first to Boise State. They had a bad start to the season, did really well, but again, it's a not a hard conference. I mean, they they lost to St. Bona, they lost to Colorado State, they lost to Wyoming towards the end of the season, and they haven't played too much, I guess, really good competition. A similar, I mean, they're in the Mountain West. Who are they going to play? I mean, beating
Mm-hmm.
San Diego State in the championship, super close match. That was fun. Um, but I mean, two losses to Colorado State, and they didn't play anyone in Power Five, uh,
Mm-hmm.
which is really tough to kind of take them over a team um, that has the talent of Memphis. Memphis, who I have upsetting in round two,
Well,
because
you
of one
say it's an
rumor.
upset. I know you say it's an upset in round two, so that means you have them winning this round.
Yes, yes, I have
Okay.
Memphis winning this round. Penny Hardaway is everyone knows Penny Hardaway, a legend of basketball now, coaching Memphis,
Mm-hmm.
drawing two top 10 guys, 5-star prospects, and they were bad to start the season. They were bad. Amani Bates sucked. Duran was underplaying. They had a bunch of guys out due to injury. Penny Hardaway was out talking to the media saying their questions are stupid and walking out. And then they hit a switch, and they got Noli back. They got DeAndre Williams back. Jalen Duran went
Mhm.
ham in the second half, and they played incredible. They won 10 of 11 to finish it. They played really well to end the season. Um, and some people credit that due to and they did lose to Houston in the finals of the tournament, but they beat Houston just a week earlier as well. Um, but a lot of people kind of and they beat Houston twice, by the way, in the regular season. Two blowout wins, really big wins.
Mhm.
But a lot of people credit that to Amani Bates being out. They were able to find rhythm without this guy coming in taking all the shots. Um, I don't see it that way. I see them finally finding rhythm and kind of the guys coming back from injury and having Noli back was huge for them. I feel like in terms of uh, the kind of ball movement, and Duran played up to his talent of being a top five pick, and Amani Bates is traveling with the team, and you're not having a guy travel with the team if you don't expect him to play really.
Well,
Um,
unless your name is Malcolm Butler, in the Super
but
Bowl,
not in a
and
tournament. I mean, they have to
right,
room
and I
all
agree.
these
And
guys and
and here's the
everything.
thing. Here's the thing I like about Memphis, right? And I think this is at least watching a lot of ACC basketball this season. Like, I think offensive rebounding is one of those things that is so valuable in college basketball because I think like there are some teams when I watched Duke play against Syracuse in Syracuse this season. Um, that first half, whenever Duke missed a shot, it seemed like most of the time they were able to get a second and maybe a third shot off of that. And when I look at Memphis's offensive rebound rank, which is incredibly like they're ranked fifth in offensive rebounding in the nation. I think that's a huge stat. I think is going to be really really important. They've been better recently. They've had a stronger schedule, and I get that Boise State has a better record. I don't think that matters. And as Connor said, I think that the team is gelled together much better towards the end of the season. The point, interesting, Vegas has Memphis winning, um, and to me that kind of says to me that I think people are going to be betting on the Broncos. They're going to see, you know, the Broncos have the Broncos are favored, so they're just going to say, well, I'll take the 3 points in the win. Um, I have Memphis State as or the Memphis as well in this one. So I think we definitely agree on that one.
I think,
Eventually, Connor and I are going to
of
disagree.
course.
In the event that that happens, um, like we'll obviously come to a compromise. Like we are making the same bracket in this case, so we are like this is a collective master plan bracket. So that's what we're doing here. So in the case when we do disagree, because it will happen, we'll flip a coin, whatever. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I just want to make that
and
clear
I do just
before.
want to say um, if Amani Bates returns, that is the biggest factor for this Memphis team. Will he make the
Mhm.
team better? Obviously, he was the best prospect by a mile. Decided to go 2 years to college. Some
Mhm.
people are saying he was one of the best prospects they've seen. All these NBA
Mhm.
players saying he got raw talent out the roofs and hasn't performed. Will Penny Hardaway? But you got to think Penny Hardaway will know how to play these guys with talent. He got his team. He knows how to
Mhm.
plug them in, and that's why I have confidence in Memphis overall. To win this match, I even have him in a good amount of brackets winning against Gonzaga, which I'm sure we're going to end up not picking because I'm sure Michael would disagree with me there.
Honestly, I'm not sure when we get to that part of the bracket. We have a lot of picks. Maybe my opinion will change. We have, however many games to go before then. So, you know, I don't know. I mean, Connor, you definitely know a little bit more about like how teams actually play. So, this is the master plan collective bracket. So we have to figure it out. Let's move on to UConn versus New Mexico State. And, at the end of the day, in every single tournament, every single year, 12 seeds are going to beat 5 seeds. 13 seeds are going to beat 4 seeds. Sometimes you'll have a 15 seed beat a 2 seed. And that's going to happen, right? And so, when you look at like pure like sometimes things just happen. Sometimes a worse team wins a game that they shouldn't have. Um in this case, and I'll just start us off, I really do like UConn. I think that UConn is actually a very strong 5 seed. And not that New Mexico State is a weak 12 seed. I just think that UConn is a very strong 5 seed. I think that there's definitely an argument that they could have been higher on the bracket, right? And I get they play in the Big East, but the the WAC is not that competitive either. And in terms of strength of schedule, New Mexico State's versus UConn's are two very different things. Um, and again, when I look at these two teams, and I I just think to myself, I think that UConn is probably going to win this one, and it's not really because they're the higher seed. I just think that they've been playing better
So
all
I
season long
I
against
just
better
want to
competition.
touch on a few things on the analytical standpoint.
Mm-hmm.
The two big points for each of these teams: UConn lets the highest 3-point percentage against them in the Big East, which is
Mm-hmm.
big, a team that skyrockets threes. On the other side, New Mexico State, per KenPom, has the highest offensive efficiency out of every single team in this tournament, just in general in college
Mm-hmm.
basketball. And when you see a stat like that, you think they've got to win, they've got to hit their shots, but they're not a great 3-point shooting team. New
Right.
Mexico State was a team destined for an upset of just a big, high scoring affair with one of these high
I
seeds.
agree.
But
Yeah.
UConn is a bad draw for them. I think
I
it's a
just don't
bad
think UConn
matchup.
is the right team for them because I look at New Mexico State and you look at the other 5 seeds in this tournament and you look at them and you say, well, I mean, if they had drawn, maybe not Iowa, but
Oh, they're
maybe
killing
St. Mary's,
Providence.
yeah, another team like that, I think they would have a much better shot. But I just think that UConn, when you look at like comparative 5 seeds, even 4 and 3 seeds, like UConn is right there with these teams. Um, and I'll say this: UConn shooting wise hasn't been great this season. Um, but at the end of the day, they feel to me like a team that's at least going to come away winning in round one. Is that fair to say, Connor?
Yeah, I'd lean UConn. If New Mexico State was going against Houston or St. Mary's as his 5 seeds, I would be all in on a New Mexico State upset. This is not the matchup, and I think Iowa would also not be the matchup. I gotta lean UConn. Um,
Absolutely.
but here's an interesting matchup right here. I don't know your opinions. You can go right ahead, Michael.
Oh, Arkansas versus Vermont. It's interesting. I think that Vermont is so. First off, I have my reservations about Arkansas. Like, I legitimately do. And definitely a good amount of my brackets, I have Vermont winning. And when you look at the metrics on ESPN Plus, right, what it tells me is comparatively, when you look at the other 413 matchups, the fact that Vermont's numbers are in the mid 30s, high 20s tells me that there is a strong possibility that this Vermont team can win. According to the simulation, Vermont won 1/3 of every game. So they won 1 out of every 3 games these two teams played in a computer simulation,
Yeah,
right?
Vermont had a poor start. They lost to
Mhm.
Providence. They had a few upset losses. Lost to Maryland. And they were blowing teams out by 40. Every team, the whole American East, by like 40 a game towards the end of the season.
Mhm. And I these two teams feel to me they're a little bit more defensive, I think. Um,
Arkansas definitely is.
and Vermont is very good at defensive rebounding, and I think that again, the tournament, like I think that some things in the tournament, when you play, like some things come and go. Like you're shooting, like you can either rise to the occasion and you could be, all over the place, like cardiac Kemba level, or your shooting can kind of falter a little bit. But I think with rebounding, it's a little bit different, right? Rebounding isn't as much of a it's definitely a skill. That's not what I'm trying to say. It's just not as precise. You don't have to be like a perfect shot. You don't have to make a great move to get a rebound. So what I'm thinking is I look at Vermont and I definitely think again, I think that Arkansas is a good team. But the fact that they're not a great 3-point shooter, which I feel like every time we get to tournament time, that is a big thing that teams hit on. 3-point shooting in the tournament is huge. And that's why I think Syracuse in the past has had so much success in the tournament because they have guys who just shoot threes all day long and they rise to the occasion to make them. The fact that Arkansas doesn't make a lot of threes,
The thing about that
yeah.
point, I know you're looking at the percentages. Arkansas has been inconsistent 3-point shooting. They could
Mm-hmm.
go destroy Kentucky when they shoot makes over 50% of threes,
Mm-hmm.
or lose to a bad team making like 15%. So it's hard to just say they're a bad three-pointing team when it's all based on how they show up that day, I feel like.
Right. No, I agree with that. Um, you know, it's tough because the one thing I think goes against Vermont the most is the fact that their strength of schedule has been so poor overall in the season. And, they've won a lot of games against teams that really aren't up to tournament standard. And that to me is a little bit concerning. In similar games, they're actually pretty decent at 36% compared to Arkansas's 64. And just to give you perspective in terms of historical seed differences, 4 seeds beat 13 seeds 8 out of 10 times. So the fact that these numbers are a little bit closer to 3.5 to 6.5 definitely tells you that this is a much more competitive matchup. In terms of I look at like turnover percentage and like those things are really important
Yeah,
to me.
Vermont is
So
insane at defensive rebounding.
so to me, I think that especially against Arkansas in this matchup, I'm ready to roll the dice with you, Connor, on this one. And I think Vermont, like, do I think that I think that Arkansas can definitely win this game. Don't get me wrong, but this is the tournament, and if you don't pick upsets, you're not. This is a tournament. You got to make moves. We're not here to get as many points. We're here to get the perfect bracket, right? That's our end goal. And so, Connor, I mean, I feel like you're hinting that you want to go Vermont.
I want to go Vermont.
I think we should go Vermont. I think I agree with that one. I like what they bring to the table. I think this is again prime upset territory right here. And moving on to the next one, Connor, I I have concerns about Alabama, right?
I don't have concerns about Alabama. They play
See,
so
it's tough.
fast. Transition is out of this world. You can't like defend their transition
That's true.
and cut away their transition like
That's
they
true.
do.
But I think that 11 seeds that played the playing game, like, I don't know, there's something about playing a game before and winning, right? To get into the tournament. I think that brings a little bit extra when you go into, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, Rutgers is interesting. Ron Harper Jr. is obviously there. He's a hooper. But looking at these teams that Alabama playing, if Alabama was playing Texas A&M, which should have made it over both of those teams, easily Notre Dame, by the
agreed.
way, absolutely robbed. If Texas Tech was playing Alabama, I would. Texas A&M was playing Alabama. I think I'd lean Texas A&M. But Rutgers is a
Hmm.
team that lost to UMass, DePaul, and Lafayette this year. Obviously, they've had
Hmm.
some upsets over like Purdue, but it's just not something I can trust. And I just don't think Notre Dame is a very good team.
Right.
Dane Goodwin is shooting incredibly, and they
Yeah,
are
I mean, I
shooting
agree.
well.
I
But
saw Notre. I mean, listen, I saw Notre Dame play this season. Like, I looked at them and when they played Syracuse, and I wasn't blown away, right? And that's not to say that Rutgers is a bad team, but obviously, like, what concerns me is that Alabama, their record in the SEC, or as an SEC team, isn't. I feel like that's a little bit weak for a 6 seed. When they're
I,
19 and 13, that's definitely a bit concerning. And you know, the thing for me though is I like Rutgers because I think that they're a little bit they're balanced. They're not like they don't really have a particular like I think a super strength. Their defense is good. It's not great, but Alabama. I think that sometimes when these fast running offenses get into the tournament, and if Alabama starts hot, you know what I'm saying? If they get out there and they get start laying some buckets down, score 3 or 4 in their first 5, 7 possessions. Something like that, I think, can make a huge difference in this game. If they start hot and they take advantage on turnovers, which Rutgers, they don't turn the ball over a lot, which is definitely gonna be tough. So, I do think that Rutgers, I would give them a little bit better shot than you would, Connor, um,
I
because I
let
think that Rutgers is a
okay.
good team.
I do don't mind the Rutgers matchup. Let me explain what I think will happen. I think Notre Dame will completely cut away Ron Harper and shoot the ball well and beat Rutgers tonight. That game starts in about 20 minutes. I think that will happen. Rutgers has a better matchup, but then you have Notre Dame versus Alabama. Notre Dame is great at defending the perimeter, but Alabama plays so fast in transition. You got guys running coast to coast that it's
So
that
what you're telling me is you're gonna hedge, let's say, okay, we think that Alabama can beat Rutgers, and we know that Alabama can beat Notre Dame, so we're going to pick Alabama overall.
Yeah,
Is
that's
that
my
correct?
idea. I think Notre Dame
I'm
beats
okay with that.
Rutgers and Alabama will crush Notre Dame.
I agree.
And there's a chance Rutgers wins, but I still think Alabama will beat Rutgers even if it's a
Mhm.
closer matchup. Um,
Agreed.
we're on
Texas Tech.
to Texas Tech. Um,
Um, Let me just start off by saying this. I don't know how much we're gonna need to talk about this one. I think that Texas Tech severely underrated as a 3 seed. I don't know if
oh,
you feel that way.
100%, 100%.
I think this
They
is
should be a two seed over Nova.
they should be a 2 seed over Duke potentially. Like
Yeah,
Texas
based on
Tech.
Duke's record, yeah, you could say that.
I think Texas Tech. You know, did they win it all last year?
No, Baylor won it all last year. It's Baylor
They,
Gonzaga
they,
finals.
Texas Tech has been good though. I
Yeah,
remember. I remember.
they made the finals 2 years ago. They made the final four last year.
Right.
Or
Texas Tech always is a great tournament team.
they're one of
And when
like
I look at this
five
matchup,
teams that have made the Elite Eight in the
mhm,
past
and when I look at
10
this
years.
matchup, and I say to myself, Texas Tech had the hardest schedule this year, playing against a team that wasn't even in their sight line for hardest schedule. And when I see a point spread, 15 points, and I think to myself, okay, well, obviously the money line on Montana is huge right now. And I just think that something about this is just telling me like Texas Tech is probably going to win this game. They are
I,
far and away the better team. I think that Montana is definitely a weaker 14 seed. Like I think definitely a bad draw for them. Don't get me wrong, but I think that Texas Tech is definitely the better
Texas
team.
Tech did not lose a game at home this year, and trust me, playing Montana State is going to feel more like a home game. Against
Mhm.
Alabama, you're probably getting a good amount more Alabama fans.
I agree, but
But
Montana is definitely
against Montana
more
State,
skilled.
which I actually like Montana State. They're a fun team to watch. I think this is their third or second. I can double check. You want to double check that for me, Michael? How many
Yeah,
tournaments
I'll
they've
look. I'll
made?
look.
But it's one of their few um, tournaments they've made this year in general. Um, and they have what's his name? Jabril Bello, I think it is. He has this nasty spin move on the baseline.
Mhm.
Uh, and it's just fun to watch a bunch of these guys.
So
Uh,
okay, so the last time, um, I don't know. I think the last time they made it was '96. They've only made it 3 times. They haven't won a game, in the tournament so far.
I
Ever.
think they made the 2020 tournament, but it was canceled because of
Maybe that
Danny
that might have been
Sprinkle
it.
shooting like 50% from three, and he's still there, I think. So he's gonna be fun, but I can't go against Texas Tech.
Texas Tech is a hard team to pick against. I definitely agree with that.
This is
Um,
we're picking Texas Tech, correct?
yeah, yeah, I'm with
Okay,
you there.
on to the worst sixth seed I've ever seen, or seventh seed I've ever seen.
Yeah, I agree. I for this one, in I would say most of my brackets, I've picked Davidson to win. I think Davidson's the better team. Again, this is
Uh,
kind of like both Michigan teams this year feel very, very overrated in terms of their seeding.
yeah, Michigan shouldn't have made the tournament, first off.
No,
Um, and Michigan State should not be a seventh seed. Yes, they started 6-0. They got big wins early in the season, and they have been abysmal since then.
but you have to remember, it's not how you start;
It's how
it's
you
how
finish.
you
The
finish.
tournament's at the end of the season, and they finished
In the terms of the
weak.
end of the season, and basically every basically if according to ESPN Plus, it's a coin flip. Essentially, simulation 52-48, similar games 51-49, power ratings 54-40. It's a toss up according to that.
Uh,
But when you watch but what statistics don't tell you to me is how a team has been playing recently, right? And you can obviously pull up those stats and kind of chop them off at some point at some game. But when you look at Davidson, Davidson's
they're
always been a good
awesome.
tournament team. And they've been very, very good all season long.
They are
And I
the
get they haven't played,
fastest team by a good amount. They play so
and
fast.
I just think like the spread is a point. Everything is telling me this is a toss-up game, even more so than 7-10 usually are, because I think that the 10 seed in this scenario, in my opinion, definitely has the advantage. Like I just don't think Michigan State is that team that is going to come away with this
They
one.
they finished way too weak. Davidson, number one pace, and if you don't believe me, look at their victory over Alabama,
Mhm.
who's the other high pace team. They play so fast. Michigan State's been slumped. They're not going to know what to do if they go down early.
Mhm.
It's hard to pick a team that was so bad in the later half of the season as Michigan
Right. And
State
I think
was.
again going back to 3-point shooting, like both these teams are good 3-point shooting. But I think the Wildcats are definitely going to bring it in the tournament. Um, I have them winning this one. Connor, are we in agreement, Davidson?
Yep, I will take Davidson here.
Awesome. Closing out the West, Duke versus CS Fullerton. Um, I think I think that Coach K definitely got lucky with this one.
Eh,
I mean, to me, not a great
eh,
um,
there's not good.
15 seed.
There's not great 15 seeds. The only one I'd say is scary is Delaware.
Yeah,
I'm not
Delaware.
scared.
Delaware. I actually have a friend. He's a big Delaware guy, so I did pick Delaware in one bracket for him
I'm
to be.
personally like not scared of Jacksonville State. I'm not scared of St. Peter's. Um,
But you never know, Connor. You never know. I remember when Michigan State was projected to win it all, and they lost in the first round to a 15 seed.
I
So
remember that too.
it's happened,
But Duke has four guys that are probably going to go in the first round.
but let me say something because I've watched Duke 3 times this season. Duke,
Crush your orange, huh?
when they get like they put up like 45 points in like 15 minutes on Syracuse. What they can do when Roach, when who's the Italian guy on the team? Forget his
Keels,
name. Who's a really good guy in Duke? I forget his name.
Banchero.
Banchero, yeah, Italian name. I don't know if he's actually Italian. He's got
I
the
don't know
Italian
either.
name.
Paolo
Um,
Banchero,
Paolo
best
Banchero.
prospect in the draft.
Listen, I don't like him as a. I don't like the way he plays. He's damn good, and they have some very good guys in that team, and all of them can shoot.
Yeah,
When I tell you that this team offensive rebound like no other, it was remarkable, right? This team can offensive rebound and they can flat out shoot it. You leave them open, it doesn't matter. They're gonna make it. So I look at Duke and I think to myself, I'm picking Duke. I don't think we need to talk more about it, Connor. You
yeah,
want to mention Fullerton? Go ahead, but I think Duke is
yeah.
the
I mean,
clear cut one.
Banchero loses 7 pounds in sweat a game. What a guy! But you even mentioned Jeremy Roach, and he's probably their sixth best player. You have AJ Griffin, probably a top 10 pick.
Mhm.
Trevor Keels is really good. Wendell Moore is one of my favorite late first round guys in this draft, easily.
Mhm.
Mike Williams is up there as well. Um, CSU Fullerton, they have a few scorers, a solid defense. Um, they don't have a single win over a top 100 Ken Palm team, so it's so hard to pick them.
Yeah.
I
Especially with
gotta
Coach K and just his experience in the tournament. I just think that
also his
that's going to
last
be
tournament.
yeah, it's going to be a long day. I think for CS Fullerton.
Are we finishing
Um,
this whole bracket here?
sorry.
Are we just gonna finish
No, I
the
like I like to go all
I
64 then 32. I like to
I
do that.
like that, but we're gonna go over by about an hour if you want to do it that way, because we
Oh
just
no, but
talked
we're gonna
about
we're
these
gonna we're gonna
teams.
speed it up, Connor. Don't worry.
Do you want to just go to get the final 14 out on each bracket
No,
first?
because ESPN Plus doesn't let me do that. Because I
Eh,
have to go pick by pick, so I can't. I
okay,
can't.
okay. Are we heading
We're
down
heading to the
to
east.
east? Okay, down to the east.
Okay.
Gotcha.
All right, Connor and I are gonna pick up the pace just a little bit because otherwise it's gonna take way too long.
Yeah.
Um, I think we don't need to talk too much about Norfolk State. Again, I feel like they're a team that comes in the tournament every year as a 16 seed, gets blown out in the first round. Baylor won it all last year. They're an incredibly solid team. I think I think going to the tournament, I always underrate them. I'm not doing that this year. I got Baylor clean cut.
Norfolk State Norfolk State made the 215 upset not that long ago. Just saying. Don't get blown out every game. I think Baylor's
That is
overrated, but not as overrated that I have them to lose. But hey, Norfolk State's done it before against number two Missouri. They can do it again. We're picking Baylor. It's what you
we're taking
expect.
Baylor. Um, North Carolina versus Marquette, definitely an interesting matchup. However, I look at North Carolina, I look at the way they played this season, and know people think the ACC was
Weak.
not as competitive. I do think there were actually a lot of competitive teams, especially towards the end of the season. And maybe you didn't have that top end talent that you see from Gonzaga, Arizona, Baylor, and Kansas. I think that North Carolina is a really, really strong team. They beat the brakes off of Syracuse at least once, maybe twice. I think twice.
They
Um,
ruined Coach K's last home game with Adam Silver and Jerry Seinfeld and like 50 former players in
they
the
do.
stand.
North Carolina does a great job of playing big in big moments, and that's something they've always done. This is a rough draw for Marquette. I think if you're Marquette, this is probably the one team as a 9 seed you don't want to play. I think that North Carolina's just a tough draw. I think they're a tough team. Um,
Hey,
I like North Carolina. I think they're a good
I,
defensive rebounding team. I get like defensively they're not incredible.
let
I
me
like
just
North Carolina.
let me just
Connor, what about
mention
you?
Marquette Marquette's wins on the season. Do
Mhm.
you know who they've beat this season?
I know they beat some pretty good teams, Connor.
They have swept Villanova, a two seed. They have swept Seton Hall, who is a what is it, eight seed? I don't
Yep,
remember what Seton Hall is. Eight
8 seed.
seed. They've beat Providence, who's a four seed, and they've beat Illinois, who I don't remember
He's a
what seed.
4 seed.
It's a four seed as well. They have a lot of good um good
Right, but
non-conference wins.
that
They
also tells me that they've lost some games that they shouldn't have lost. Is that correct?
No, I mean every team loses games, but when they come in the, I mean, sure they lost a bad one to DePaul. I'll say that. They lost
Hmm.
against Saint Bona, who was
Hmm.
always pretty good though. Um,
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know.
I
So what? Tell me what you're thinking, because I think that North Carolina's definitely played better towards the end of the season. Again, both these teams feel like teams to me that shine brightest in the biggest moments, right? So who do you want?
uh no, I mean I can definitely see us take it. North Carolina just makes too much sense, but Marquette is right there with upset potential. Shaka Smart, I mean, he
Hey, I
brought
mean it's a tough
VCU to the
thing.
Final Four.
I mean that's a tough thing with an 8-9 seed. Like I mean we're talking eight, teams very similar in terms of um, you know, ratings, rankings. Connor,
I just
I'll let you decide.
we'll pick
Carolina or
North
Marquette?
Carolina. They've been the better team all season. They won they did great towards the end of the season. They beat Duke, looked strong.
Hmm.
Um, I do just want to mention Shaka Smart is an amazing tournament coach. He brought VCU to the Final Four, and that is a game that there's upset potential. And if there's upset potential, if Marquette get hot and beat North Carolina, they're gonna win a couple rounds. But
Yes,
for,
sir.
for for us, we're taking North Carolina. We're gonna play it safe. We're gonna head to Indiana, um,
This is
St.
a tough
Mary's.
one. I definitely think this is a tough one.
Once again,
But
another 12 seed that should have been Texas A&M, and I would have picked Texas A&M to upset.
but
Um,
to me, this is again, St. Mary's is a good team.
St. Mary's
And
is
again, part of me
fun.
feels, Michael, you need to pick 12. You need to pick 12. But I don't like St. Mary's in this. I can't explain it. Like I like St. Mary's. I think they're a good team, and they've been good recently.
St.
And I
Mary's
think that Indiana hot start, cooler finish. Is
St.
that
Mary's
correct?
runs this really funny out of bounds at the baseline, like triple guys circle routes that end up getting an
Mhm.
open basket. There's just a lot of funny stuff they did. They beat Gonzaga at the end of the season when Michael was saying they were so good, when Gonzaga was so good, and they beat Gonzaga. Um,
That's what I'm
it
saying.
was the
That's why I think
first
they're
time
good enough.
Gonzaga has been held under 60 points since 2018-19 when they lost to St. Mary's again. You have uh, Tass, I forget his first name, who's an absolute double machine inside there. Uh, it's a strong offense. They have the makings to to a team that you'd think would be they'd be a late seed if they didn't have that Gonzaga win.
I
Um,
agree.
and Indiana went 2 of 7 in their last 9 games of the regular
So
season.
you telling me we're picking another 5 seed over a 12?
I feel like we gotta do it.
I can't see Indiana winning it. Like obviously they can, and knowing me, they'll
There,
probably win
there
tomorrow or
there's a
Friday.
chance we pick four or five seeds here, cause
I know.
cause I know I'm picking Iowa over Richmond.
I know I'm picking Iowa too.
We'll go St.
So
Mary's. We'll take the 5 seed. Maybe we'll be the
I just this I love UCLA. I love
Johnny
UCLA. And
Juzang is
Connor,
so fun to watch.
I love UCLA. I love what they do. I love UCLA. I think this team could come out of the East, and I would not be surprised. I have them winning it all in one of my brackets. They're that good of a team.
Yeah, they're
The
fun.
Akron Zips,
Um,
Connor. Do we know anything about them?
Yeah, I mean, first UCLA, incredible at defending the three, good on offense, good on defense. Akron, I know they have a guy whose name is Ali Ali, which is awesome. Shout out to that guy, and he shoots like 50% from three. So he's a beast. Um, but I mean, the reason they made this tournament is they won the MAC tournament with Kent State, and you know the reason they won that game, Michael?
Why?
Three Kent State players were suspended in that game.
Ooh, so you're telling me Akron may not deserve to be in the
Just
tournament?
maybe. That's a big
Uh,
argument. I mean, they had some fun games. They Ali Ali had like 20 against Ohio State, which they lost. They made it
mhm.
to the finals, but they
Akron,
played
I'll
a
say
team
this:
with multiple suspended players.
terrible free throw shooting team. Terrible.
We're
So
picking UCLA. Michael loves UCLA. I'm down with UCLA.
this
Akron
next
really
one,
shouldn't
I
be in the
think, is probably
tournament.
going to be the biggest first
Debate.
round headbutt. Listen, I love Virginia Tech. And the reason why is because I interviewed Cave Luma. This kid's a baller. And he told me, and I'm quoting him, he told me that and this was before Virginia Tech got good, before they won
Oh
the
yeah.
ACC tournament. He told me, you know, you know, up until now, I don't think we've been playing that well, but I think we're just starting to hit our stride. I like where we are. And since then, this team has been on a roll. Last season, I picked Oregon State in, I think, my bracket that I was claiming to be my best one, which was obviously the one that did the best. And I picked Oregon State in a lot of them. The reason why, they won their conference. I think that winning your conference, going, especially because Virginia Tech beat Duke, they beat some good teams to get into the tournament, right? Because they were very close. They were on that edge. I like what they do. I like Coach Young, and I'm definitely biased, completely biased. I just don't think that Texas is that good. Also,
I've researched this matchup a lot, and it's less about the teams, how they've done this year. Texas had some disappointing losses. Virginia Tech's been good this year. You look at how the teams play. Virginia
definitely
Tech run everything through a zoom offense. They do
a
dribble
lot of pick and roll.
handoffs into cutting, into swinging around the edge, get an open
Absolutely.
look. Texas defend heavily with help. And that cutting falls apart when you get such a good help defense with the
Mhm.
Texas's ability to defend all five guys in the starting lineup's ability to kind of defend the perimeter. It kind of reminds me of the Celtics defense, how they
Right,
switch
right.
and help everything. They have this guy Rob Williams who just helps all these guys on the outside and on cuts
Mhm.
and that defense I feel like is going to be intoxicating for Virginia Tech. I like Virginia Tech too. I would have taken Virginia Tech over I think LSU and maybe Alabama,
Mhm.
um, probably for sure Colorado State as well.
All right, you
Um,
know what, Connor? I will acquiesce. That is definitely a very good reason to pick Texas. Again,
it's a
if you're
bad
making
matchup
more
for
than
Virginia Tech.
if you're making more than one bracket, I would pick Virginia Tech to win at least some of them, and maybe the next round as well. They're a very good team. Texas, great defensively. I don't love them offensively, but Connor definitely convinced me on this one. Texas over VT. Um, Purdue, Yale. Obviously, Yale
Okay,
won the Ivy League.
this
Purdue. Go ahead,
this will
Connor.
be the most fun matchup to watch. You have Jaden Ivey, who's probably the most fun player to watch in college basketball,
Agreed.
freakishly athletic, so fast, and then you have Azar Swain, who might be the best player I've ever seen out of the Ivies in the last 10 years. Um, he is able to score fully contested anywhere. You watched him during that tournament. He's pulling up from everywhere and just making everything. Y- like obviously you're looking at Jeremy Lin. Okay, Jeremy Lin probably better than him. Um, but but has Jeremy Lin been great in the past like 5 years? Not really. So let's say the past 5 years, I've not seen a
He
better
had
Ivy League
one good
player
week, Connor.
than Swain. No,
It,
he had a few good seasons though. He had one
no, he did.
incredible week,
One
but he
incredible
was
week.
good on the Lakers. He was solid on Lakers. He was good on the Knicks that year,
I thought he
even
was good on the
before his
Rockets too.
explosion. He was solid on the Rockets when he was starting over there.
I mean,
Um,
I get all that, but I just think that Ivies traditionally have a really tough time in the tournament, and it
Oh
usually
no,
comes
I'm not
close.
picking. I'm not picking Yale. But I just want this matchup will be so fun to watch.
Gotta pick Purdue for
I,
Josh. Am I right?
yeah, shout out Josh G. He was asking me for advice in the tournament. I'm like, Purdue's a pretty damn good team.
They
They have
will
probably the
disappoint you
most fun.
eventually. They will disappoint you eventually. But
They have the most fun player in college basketball. I want to see
all
him
right,
make him
Connor.
first, so I'm not gonna have him get upset.
All right, Murray State, San Francisco Dons. I don't know what that means,
This
but
is such an ugly matchup.
ugly 7-10. In my brackets, I have it split. Um, I think I've
Uh,
read a little bit heavier on San Francisco just because simulation wise, it's very interesting. 75% of the time, the computer simulation has San Francisco winning this game, which is very
okay.
interesting.
Um, John Morant made a crazy upset over Marquette when he was on Murray State. John Morant's incredible now. John Morant has been tweeting and everything that this team might be better than the Murray State team that he was on. They have won 18 games
Are
in a
we
row.
trusting John Morant?
John Morant's the best point guard in the league right now in terms of play this season.
Hey, listen, he know more basketball than I do.
They have won 18 games in a row since a close loss against Auburn, who Auburn has been was a 1 seed. They have the best player
A 2 seed now.
in the country right now in terms of production. They're 18 in a row. How can you go against 18 in a row? San Francisco was probably the I mean, yes, they're the kings of kind of making some tournament runs. Obviously, they have the most winningest player of all time as that was a part of them in Bill Russell. Um, Jamari Bouye is fun to watch. They
I'll say this, Connor. I ain't gonna argue with you on this one
okay.
because we gotta get these people their information. So I think we gotta, you know, start picking up the pace.
Of
No
course.
offense, I love your analysis. I'm
18,
gonna
I
start
can't
holding
go
back.
against 18 games in a row against a team in San Fran
Maybe the
that's
next
probably
round.
been the third best in their conference.
Maybe the next round. Finally, in the East, Kentucky, St. Peter's. Again, I don't. I'm never gonna pick a team that's mascot is peacocks.
I guarantee you've chosen Gamecocks a bunch of times.
That I would pick. But Kentucky's a great tournament team. They're a great team overall. Do we want to discuss
Yeah,
anything about
St.
Kentucky?
Peter's has like 2,000 kids total at the school, and it's a private Jesuit school. I don't know how they made it here. I mean, they're shooting it really, really well, um, but I just can't see them
Kentucky's a
winning here.
beast.
Kentucky's a good team. They've always been a good team. Yes, it's a new coach and everything recently, but you can't go against Kentucky here. Pretty
All right, Connor.
straightforward. All right,
To the south we go.
yeah, just give me one
Let's start off.
second so I
Obviously,
can pull it up on stream.
oh yeah, take your time. Obviously you can see above me who my winner is. So we're not even gonna debate who is going to win this game
Yeah, I really
because
wanted to see. Wright State just won a little bit ago. Tanner Holden is awesome out there. I really wanted to see Bryant make the tournament. They've never made the tournament. Peter Kiss was averaging, I think, the most points in Division One. Um, but yeah, Arizona's a really good team. Michael lost his, didn't bring his sweatshirt because he's a fake fan.
don't
Um,
worry, don't worry. I left it at home. I have my shorts. This baby. Woo! We're here. We're out here.
yeah, I mean,
Go Arizona.
Tommy Lloyd, Gonzaga assistant, takes over Arizona, and he's turned them into a juggernaut. They have
Back.
multiple like 50. They have Benedict Matherin, who has exploded this year, probably going to end up in the lottery because of his play this year. You've got Koloko, the center, who would probably be drafted as well. Um, they haven't made the Final Four in 21 years. They
This is
yes,
the year, Connor.
yes,
This is the year. We're going
was
back.
the
We're taking it all.
Pac-12 was so weak this year. I will
Oh, you're
say
just
that.
saying that. You're
Uh,
saying that because I'm here. I don't want
but
to hear it,
but
Connor.
I mean,
I don't want to hear it.
it's the same questions you have against Gonzaga every year, and we usually pick Gonzaga Final Four, so I can't really take that away. We're going Arizona here.
We're going
Um,
Arizona. Thank you.
we're
Thank
go-
you.
it's hard to argue against it. Next, we got the best mascot in the tournament
I
by a
agree.
good amount, the
The Horned
Horned
Frogs.
Frogs. Absolute fun team in TCU.
I
Um,
do love TCU, and they are definitely better in terms of similar games. But Seton Hall, to me,
yeah,
they know tournament well. They usually perform really well in the tournament. I gotta say that. However, Connor, I'm just gonna defer to you on this one. Who do
yeah.
you think is going to win this one?
So TCU is the best offensive rebounding team um,
I like
in
that.
in the in the in the whole college basketball. I think Eddie Lampkin is a beast. Um, but Seton Hall the in the dictionary, you look up what momentum means. Seton Hall is right there. They're 8-2. They in their last 10 games before the Big East. They played decent in the Big East. I don't know if Bryce Aiken is back. I believe he is. And him coming back should give him a boost as well. Um, they always play well in the tournament. They always do.
Every single year.
So it's so
Every
hard.
year.
It's so hard to go against them in the tournament when they usually. I mean, when's the last time they haven't won a? Actually, they lost first round last year, didn't they?
Yeah, the last year they lost.
Okay,
All right, Connor. You know what I think we need to do? I
we'll
think
go
we need to
Seton
bring
Hall.
out the most trusty device out there. One that will tell us who will win when we don't even know. A quarter.
A quarter?
We're gonna flip for it.
Sure.
Seton Hall is gonna be heads. TCU is gonna be tails. Whatever this coin tells us, we're gonna pick that team. We gotta make it interesting. All right, Lady Luck, you're on our side. Ready?
I'm ready.
Tails. We're
So
taking TCU.
TCU. TCU
TCU it
will
is.
beat Arizona in the second round.
No, no,
Just
no,
just
no,
letting you know.
no, no, no,
Um,
no, no, no.
they
Ab,
beat Texas Tech. They beat Kansas. They're coming
I
for the
we're going
weak
on to Houston.
Pac-12.
Come on, we gotta focus, Connor.
All right.
All right, listen. If all right, this is how
We
I feel
have to
about
take an upset, right? We have to take
we
a
have to pick a
5-12.
12-5.
Jordan
I don't
Walker's
care about
insane.
Houston. I don't care about logic. We're taking UAB
Uh,
for
uh,
no other reason than we don't think that this is the weakest 12-5 matchup in terms of the 5 seed, right? And we know that it's going to happen.
5 years ago, they upset as a 14 seed. Now they're a higher seed. They're a 12 seed. Walker is really good. That kid can score everywhere. Um, and is Houston hasn't been that good this year, if I'm being honest.
Mhm.
They have a couple bad losses throughout. I think they lost. They have one win against a team within the top 50 on KenPom, and it's against Oklahoma State, who did they even make the tournament?
No, they didn't.
Yeah. So I'm willing to do the upset. It makes sense. You
Yeah,
have a kid
listen,
in Walker who could just go ham
you
and
gotta
pull it off.
pick upsets to win. You gotta do it. All right. And if you don't pick upsets, no one wants to be that guy, Connor, who picks a chalk bracket and sits right in the middle of the pack. He's doing great after day one. Oh, look at me, guys! I did great after day one. I got most of them right. No one wants to. Don't be that guy. Don't. Don't do it. All right. Pick upsets. Play the game as it's supposed to be played. All right. And we know that this is the weakest 5 seed, and you have to at least pick one. And I guarantee you another 12 seed will win. But, I mean, we don't know who that'll be. So, we're going to pick UAB. Hopefully, they take the dub. Let's move on to the Mocs versus the Ilmi.
Okay.
Honor, I got to take Illinois.
I have to as
Um,
well.
and that's just because I'm from Illinois. Um, also, also, I just don't like Chattanooga. I think this is a really weak 13 seed. I don't like the Southern Conference. I think they typically play pretty poorly in the tournament for whatever reason. Illinois recently has been playing
Yeah.
better. Um,
It's not even. Let me just key you in on something. Kofi Coburn is elite. He is one of the best players, if not the best, in
mhm.
college basketball this year. Has probably top three chance to win the Wooden Award. In 6 of their 8 games that Illinois lost, he either did not play or he picked up 4 or more fouls.
So you're telling me he can't get into foul trouble tomorrow, and he shouldn't
Yeah,
be doing anything
I
crazy
mean,
tonight or tomorrow night.
if he's out of the game, they're gonna lose. He's so important to that team. But assuming he's playing, um,
Well, I mean, listen, in tournament time, usually like stuff like that isn't going to happen against a team that really is not that talented. I think, again, not a fan of Chattanooga.
I
Really
mean,
not. There are 13 seeds that I have picked. I would.
okay.
Moving on
Let me
to the
just say
biggest.
that Chattanooga game winner to make the tournament was sick. But yeah,
That is correct.
we're
All right.
picking Illinois.
That was sick. However, come on. Come on. Is Illinois. I know me, baby. Woo!
Michigan
Moving on to the
getting
biggest
Colorado
joke.
State feels like it's rigged.
You think that Michigan's going to win this one?
I don't think that Michigan's gonna win this
You
one.
think we're gonna have a Michigan Wisconsin Final Four matchup? Is that
I
what
don't
you're
think
telling
Michigan
me?
will make it past this round, but
No.
they got a weak opponent here. Colorado State, a lot of people didn't expect them to be
I mean, yeah, but
a
I
six
really like
seed.
Colorado
I
State,
do too. I think they're a fun team. Their spot up efficiency is crazy.
and I think
David
Michigan
Rhodey
is
is
super
the
weak.
best off ball cutter in college basketball.
I think Michigan is super weak.
They are. They for sure are. I lean Colorado State as well. But if you get
I
one,
can't pick Michigan because their coach shouldn't even be coaching. All right, my
it's
opinion.
hard. It's hard when you have Hunter Dickinson, who is incredible, um, and Caleb Houston, who is probably going to get
I know.
drafted pretty
Michigan
high.
is a very strong tournament team. I do agree. Like they're,
Michigan doesn't have their coach, right?
I thought they do.
Is he back?
I don't know.
I thought he got suspended for like the rest of the season.
I thought it
Who
was for the
cares?
rest of the
Even
season.
if Juwan Howard's back, he's bad at his job, so we're picking Colorado State.
Colorado, woo! All right, now for a 3 seed that really shouldn't be a three
No, they
seed.
should be way higher.
Um, Tennessee. So
Ten-
if you're saying they should be way higher, to me, Connor, that tells me you're probably gonna be Longwood, the
yeah,
Longwood Lancers.
Tennessee was um was what ranked number 5 for a while. They just won the SEC tournament.
Listen,
Kennedy
I
Chandler
honestly, in
is a
most of my brackets,
demon.
I don't have Tennessee going very far, and
I
for the
think
reason, the
Tennessee's
same
a
reason as
Final
Purdue.
Four team.
For the same reason as Purdue. In the tournament, whenever it comes to tournament time, Tennessee performs poorly every single year. And with Purdue, I had them Final Four or Elite Eight last year, didn't make it. I had Tennessee. I think usually Final Four, Elite Eight. I think one year I had them winning. And Lou,
Okay,
and listen, I like Tennessee to beat Longwood. I don't think Longwood's a very good team. And then I think that obviously Colorado State definitely needs your matchup. I, you know,
let me just
I didn't know
say
Tennessee
here
was as good
right
as.
now,
You know,
Tennessee has not had a Kennedy Chandler before. Tennessee's SEC Player of the Year, you know him well, Michael. He's played great this year, but it was Grant Williams was the guy carrying their roster for a couple years there. He was awesome in college,
love my boy
but
Grant Williams. I love him.
he's no
When he puts,
Kennedy Chandler.
he's
He's
just
no
that corner
top 10
three,
pick. I
wet.
mean, Admiral Schofield is no Kennedy Chandler. They
Mm-hmm.
haven't had a talent like this.
Right.
Um,
All right.
they
So
really
Tennessee.
haven't. I have to go Tennessee. I have Tennessee making Final Four in a lot of my brackets.
All right. Well, won't happen this time because I have Arizona. Um, listen, I don't care what anyone says. Ohio State may be a great team. I don't know anything about Ohio State. But
EJ
if I have
Liddell's the
learned
best
anything
player.
about March
The,
Madness, Connor, you do not bet against Sister Jean. Don't. So I won't this time. I will hold firm. Connor, your thoughts. Actual analysis.
right now, EJ Liddell is the runner for the Wooden Award, um, and but you have one of the best defensive teams in college basketball over the past like 5 years. You'd probably say. I mean, they held Auburn like really low um, compared to where you'd kind of expect them to be. Um, I mean, they have shooters. This is a team that knows how to make the run, but it's a lot different lineup. They they have uh, one or two players
But
from that
Connor,
run.
they have God on their side. They literally have God.
She's
They
still
have.
alive. Is she showing up?
She show. Oh, Connor. I don't know if she's ever gonna die at this point. I don't know.
They run
Because
their weird play action, which has an offensive foul that's not called like half the time. They're like
I know, but
somewhat
it
play
works good
action
in
cutting.
tournaments. Like weird stuff like that works good in tournaments. I think it's because teams like Ohio State don't face this a team like Loyola
Okay, but
that often.
who on Loyola will stop EJ Liddell
Sister
inside?
Jean,
She's gonna pull
Sister
up and
Jean.
just lock him up. I
Connor,
can't
are we?
see it.
All right. Let me ask you: Are we at an impasse?
Uh, by the way, I just wanna let you know that the same Loyola Chicago coach that made that run, he got a job elsewhere. So it's not the same guy.
But
Um,
it's saying Sister Jean. That's what I'm saying, right? I
Sister
don't.
Jean had her run.
But she had a run. She had a run last year. She had a. She has to get a win. New
They,
coach.
hey,
All
okay,
right.
let's think about it like this. They
The
made it
coin.
to
Do we need the coin?
no, let me talk it through. They made it to the Final Four, and then they dropped to the Sweet 16. That's a division by four. They got 4 times worse last year, and now take 4 times worse this year.
Okay.
This is Sister
All right.
Jean's trajectory.
All
Trajectory.
right.
That's
Here's
top
what I'll say.
64.
Here. Okay. All right. You know what?
That's flawless math,
I'm gonna give
Michael.
this one to Connor. We're gonna take Ohio State. However, if
However,
you make two brackets, you must
switch it
pick
up.
Loyola in one of them because, by God, we are doing something that we are going to atone for tomorrow, Connor. And I promise you that. Or they play Friday. I don't know when they play. We're going to atone for this. But we are picking Ohio State because reasons. Because
Cause
Connor knows
math,
basketball.
exactly. Cause math,
Finally,
basically.
the Delaware Blue Hens take on Nova.
Finally.
And listen, the best 15 seed, I agree. Nova, they just know how to win in tournament, man. Like they just, I know it's not the same team,
Well,
but they're a good
it's
Big
still
East
Colin
team.
Gillespie, this kid who got
And
injured,
Colin
ended their
Gillespie.
season last year. He got injured and couldn't play the rest of the season. Um, and then miraculously, in his favor, COVID happens to give him an extra year of eligibility to make his run that he could have had if he didn't get injured. He's gonna be
He's
awesome.
going all out against the Blue Hens, all right? And let me just say, if Nova loses, I won't be as shocked as I would be if any of the other two seeds lose. However, I don't think it's going to happen. And I'm sorry to Delaware fans, but I also don't really care. I got Nova. Connor, are you?
I like Delaware, but I gotta lean over. Even though they weren't great in the tournament. Um, I mean,
The most important tournament starts tomorrow.
I,
So
I,
that's the
I
tournament that counts.
can't, I can't go for Delaware. I do like them. They're a
They're a
hounding
fun team.
defense.
They won a close one in their conference to win it all.
Also,
But
by the way, let's just take it back. Jameer Nelson, who won the Wooden Award and brought St. Joseph's to the Final Four, his son is on this 15 seed Delaware. Um,
okay, that Connor no.
so if you're making a team to make the 15
Yeah,
seed
but his
run,
son. That's not the same person. It's his
okay,
son.
but he's their best player. He's Delaware's best player, and Jameer Nelson was a beast. Wasn't
Connor,
incredible in the
Connor,
NBA.
Connor.
Um,
People need their information. We've done only 24 games.
okay, okay.
We're picking
We
Nova.
will take Nova. They'll lose in the second round. We're fine. All right, we
But
got
not the
Texas
sister
Southern.
Jean. All right, Texas Southern. I don't really like Texas Southern, and I love Kansas always. So I'm gonna take Kansas. Connor, you're gonna pick Kansas because
Um,
Kansas is really damn good.
yeah, I mean Texas Southern. You have the coach Johnny Jones, who coached Ben Simmons at LSU, who absolutely hated the kid because he had no idea how to use him, and they missed the tournament with Ben Simmons. Will he get his redemption? They beat
No,
Florida, which was a big upset, but Kansas is good this year. Kansas is I don't like watching them very much. I don't like how Ugbaji plays very much personally. I don't think it'll translate great to. I mean, he shot it. I don't think it'll translate crazily to the NBA.
go
But
Cougar.
he withdrew last year because he was supposed to be like a second round pick. Now he's a projected lottery pick. So a good move by him. I don't think he'll translate. I think he'll be a bust. But he's good in college and he'll be good in the tournament.
Is he the Luke Garza of this tournament?
No, not like that. He's gotta go in the lottery. He's the Josh Jackson of this draft.
All right. Next matchup, the Aztecs versus the Blue Jays. I made the mistake last year picking the Aztecs. I think it was either in the first or second round over Syracuse. Obviously, they lost.
You
Um,
picked them over Syracuse? The
yes, that
score
was
you went
before I
to.
committed to Syracuse, so it doesn't count,
What a
right?
moron.
Um,
Yeah,
I do love the Aztecs. I think they're a really strong team. I think that Creighton, I have picked them. I think that they are worse than they have been in past years, though.
they are not good this year. Sorry. They're
So,
they're
are
not.
we in agreement, San Diego State?
Yeah, San Diego State is 11-2 in the last 13. Those two losses are both against Boise State, who they match up very poorly against. Um, Andrew Nemhard's brother, Ryan Nemhard, was Creighton, and they were good. And then he's out for the season. and he's not been good. And now you got, I mean, yes, they upset UConn to make the tournament, um, but they don't have their best players. They're
I'm not a big fan of Creighton, and I just
Yeah,
think that
they're bad
in
on
past years they've
offense.
been better, right? And in past years they've made those
Well,
upsets,
past
they've
years
made
they've
that run.
had their best player. This year
And
they
in
don't
this
have their
year,
best player.
I don't feel the same way. So Blue Jays, I'm sorry, but I gotta go Aztecs. Let's go Aztecs. Um,
Michael knows exactly who I'm going to compare this Iowa team to, right, Michael?
I
If
don't
if
know actually.
if
You
there's
gotta.
one team that made a tournament run, they would not. They're the only team that has won the tournament, not top 25 in both offensive and defensive efficiency in Ken Palm. This is a reincarnate of the UConn run in 2014.
Cardiac Kemba. You know what?
Shabazz Napier.
This is the best 5 seed maybe ever.
Yeah, and it's on the back of Keegan Murray.
Listen, I don't know who's on Richmond. I don't know who plays for the Spiders. And I'm sorry
Richmond
about
is,
that.
I think, one of the best 3-point shooting teams. Um,
But I mean, like, again, tough draw for Richmond. I
yeah.
think that if they played a 6 seed, I think they would have a much better shot of winning.
Hey,
I'm gonna
they
be
made the
honest.
tournament. They really weren't supposed to. And
But they're
they
not taking down
look decent.
Iowa.
They're not taking down
Iowa
Iowa.
Iowa is a championship contender. So I gotta go with Iowa. I'm sorry. You in agreement, Connor?
Yep, I'm with you there.
Um, I think this is gonna be a super fun matchup. This next one, Providence versus South Dakota
No, this
State,
is gonna be such a high-scoring game.
because I think that South Dakota State is a gr- fa- absolutely fantastic 13 seed.
They are, if they are the best 3-point shooting team in terms of efficiency. They are the second highest scoring team behind the best team ranking wise in Gonzaga. They are a fun team. They're going to be lighting it up. And these are the type of these games where you have the Syracuses that just light it up from three. Um,
Connor, I think like we need to pick another upset, and I think this has got to be that.
yeah, but Providence is another upset team. They have
I know
no
that.
5-star recruits. They are upsetting teams all over the place. They beat Texas Tech,
I love the
Wisconsin,
Friars. I love them. Don't get me wrong. I love the Friars, but
but um,
gotta pick
Al Durham
upsets.
did have a sports hernia going towards the end of the season. There, they got swept by Nova. There are questions about them competing against top teams. How are they going to stop? I mean, Nate Watson's going to be there, and they have guys that average a lot of points, but how are they going to stop the 3-point barrage from South Dakota State that's going to come in and score 90 points on their heads and take out 4
I
seed
agree.
Providence in the first
So
round?
we're taking South Dakota.
We're taking South Dakota State.
Agreed. All right. This next one's tough because LSU just lost their coach, obviously. But I at least think that in the first round, that's going to be more fuel to the fire rather than takeaway. I think that LSU is a really good team, and I think that Iowa State they're good, but I think LSU is definitely seeding wise underseeded. I think they
Yeah,
could be
I
higher.
mean their issue is they're in the SEC. The SEC is strong. Um,
But that's why I like LSU in this matchup. I think they play tough teams. Um,
but
Iowa State's
LSU,
good, but I don't think it's the same.
I mean, yeah, they don't have their coach. They have a 20% turnover rate, and they only shoot 32% from three. Um, Iowa State is, I mean, they have
I
Brockington,
think
who's
Iowa
very
State
good.
statistically is
Um,
better. Don't get me wrong.
yeah, and they beat Texas Tech, they beat Texas, they beat Iowa. There's potential there, but it went. They also are a poor 3-point shooting team. They have potential to make an upset. I gotta lean LSU at least this round. I don't think they make it far, but I gotta
I
lean them
agree.
here.
All right, on to the team that I'm calling New York's team in this tournament because Syracuse didn't make it. Colgate. Shout out to Zach Light, who actually went to the same camp that I went to. He's not a starter on Colgate, but he does play at the very end of games that they're blowing out other teams or
You
getting
mean when
blown
they
out.
blew out Syracuse?
I don't think he went in that game. Maybe he did. I don't
They
remember.
killed.
Um,
They scored like 115 on Syracuse.
I know his younger brother Jake Light, who dominated our fantasy league a couple years ago, is going to the game. And I love Colgate, and I always make a
Okay,
bracket with
quick break.
Colgate going to the end.
Quick break. The Bucks signed Chris Godwin to a long-term deal. We can go back now.
Oh, by the way, by the way, just for everyone, just so everyone knows, yeah, he's back. I don't have to retire it anymore. So,
And you know how much that somehow paying him more money lowers his cap hit because the cap in the NFL is a joke, especially when it comes to tags. Um,
just kick it down the road.
so shout out Chris
All right,
Godwin, got his
all
long-term
right,
deal. Back to
all right.
Colgate, they shoot it incredibly. They demolish Syracuse. Shout out the Boeheim brothers who are both done in college.
Connor, this I just feel like Wisconsin's a great team,
You feel like
and I love
Wisconsin
Colgate.
is a great team. I do think Wisconsin is somewhat overrated, um, but but they went ham the Big Ten tournament. They beat Purdue.
Listen,
Johnny
I
Davis is a
remember last season.
beast.
Last season, like Colgate played a great. They played really, really well against Arkansas, who they played in the first round, and they were leading. I think it was like tied at the end of the first half. But I just think that when it comes to guys at the end of games, because they've played so many minutes, I just don't think Colgate has that depth, and that's why I'm taking Wisconsin. I hope Colgate wins. I will be rooting for Colgate.
It's actually a closer spread than you'd expect. It's only -8.
Yeah,
But I mean,
I like
I mean
Wisconsin,
they Wisconsin beat Purdue. They beat Rutgers. They beat Michigan, Indiana. They beat all these teams
and their coach
towards
can
the end of the
fight too.
season.
And their coach can fight. What up?
The coach won the
Put him
fight.
up. Nah, Juwan didn't win the fight.
No,
He just got the
Wisconsin's
first blow. It was a sneak attack.
Juwan
It was a
lost the
sneak
fight.
attack.
Juwan Howard lost the fight. He got suspended.
Yeah, exact. That's right. All right,
Johnny
moving
Davis is a
on.
beast. We're picking
All
Wisconsin.
right. What?
Go ahead. USC, Miami.
Oh, I'm taking USC. Miami
Yeah,
sucks.
I agree. I think Miami is vastly overrated.
Listen, for as I was gonna say as bad, for as subpar, as disappointing as Syracuse was this season, they led Miami twice by 18 and 22 points. And then they blew the lead and lost both those games. However, USC will not do that. They are a better team. So
Yeah,
I'm taking USC. Coach, what is his name? Larinaga
Larinaga.
looks exactly like Jim Boeheim, funny enough.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
he is not as good. So we are taking USC. There's no discussion. Connor, you're not going to say anything. We're taking USC. I don't want to talk about Miami. Miami sucks.
but shout out Jay Leonega, former Celtics assistant. Uh, I don't know where he is now, honestly. I should know, but he was the number 2 guy in Boston for a while. But yeah, Miami, net ranking in the high 50s, weak
They suck.
conference. They should not have made this tournament,
No.
let alone be a
Not
10th
as a
seed.
10. Are you playing as a
USC
10?
has Evan Mobley's younger brother or older brother. I actually don't know, but he's been a beast this year and can shoot it. He's like
And
a
Miami almost got beat by BC in the ACC tournament.
They should
Like,
have. If
they
BC
should have
wasn't on
lost.
2 games in a row going to overtime, BC wins that.
So we're taking USC.
Also, last
Finally,
shot in that game was
Auburn
horrible.
versus the Gamecocks, Jacksonville State. Um, I love Auburn.
I
I
love
think they're a
Jacksonville
really, really
State.
good team. Sorry?
I love Jacksonville State.
Well, we're taking Auburn, so I don't really care.
Yeah, I think it's fair to take Auburn, but Jacksonville State has been a really cool team.
Would you reckon they're the best 15 seed in the bracket, though?
Let
I
me see.
think so.
What are 15 seed? I thought you said Delaware was the best 15 seed.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right.
They the thing with Jacksonville State is they commit the least defensive fouls out of every team. They just
And
go
that's big
straight
against
up.
a very good team as Auburn.
But I mean, how are you going to stop Jabari Smith without fouling? He is so good.
You're not.
So we're picking Auburn.
All right,
Now we're going to head
round of 64 done.
back up
Just for a brief
west.
intermission. Just
Brief
a
intermission.
5-second intermission.
Sure.
I would like to announce. So Brady retired. He obviously unretired. And so in the time, in the 4 days that he was retired, I was on Fanatics. I was scouring. I decided, you know what? It would be nice. Brady won all these Super Bowls for me, and he's done all this stuff. He's made my career as a sports, broadcaster, influencer person, whatever you want. Don't ever say influencer. Sports personality. So I decided, it'd be nice to have a plaque. So I purchased this. And then Brady decides, you know what? I'll unretire. And, if he passes 90,000 passing yards, which, as you can see, he plays a couple more seasons, he's got to do that. This plaque will be worthless. So,
Not as
I
worthless
would like
as
to
the
say,
$500,000 last touchdown ball.
not as bad as that. I would like to say to Mr. Brady that when you do eclipse the 90,000 passing yards mark, will you please refund me so I can purchase a new one of these for you? So that's my bad beat of the week. It came and
Bad
arrived
beat.
the day. It arrived the day
You
before
can
you.
probably return it right now. All right, we got Gonzaga, Memphis.
All right, Connor. I know you like to pick Memphis. I do agree they're a good team, but I just think that Gonzaga is not going to lose here. I
If
just don't think
Imani
they
Bates is
are.
back and good, Memphis win this game. It hasn't been released if he's playing or not, so I can't take them yet.
Based on current information.
Based on current information, you have to assume he's not. I'll go
However, if he does
Gonzaga.
come back, for those of you, but if he doesn't come back before brackets come out, but in some of your brackets, maybe throw Memphis to beat Gonzaga. Let me just put that out there. All right. But in this one, we're gonna take Gonzaga.
Okay, we're doing
Um,
it, right? We're doing it.
UConn, Vermont.
We're doing it, right?
UConn. I like UConn.
You
But
like UConn? I like Vermont a lot.
UConn's a
UConn
really
wasn't.
good team now.
Are they?
According, well, they're.
They're a good offensive rebounding team. I'll give them that. Um, they
I
beat
feel like
Auburn.
that's
They pulled an
important.
upset against Auburn.
I don't like the
Um,
Vermont strength of schedule. That's what scares me.
okay, but who's Vermont gonna play?
That's my concern. I think the UConn's had some big wins. I
Fine.
think that there have been.
We'll go
I,
UConn. They won a lot of the last games, including an upset against Auburn.
thank you.
We'll go
All right,
UConn.
but next one goes to you, Connor. So I'll say that. Next
Well,
50-50
I think we
confirmed.
agree on this next one pretty handily.
Yeah, I think Texas Tech. I think is
Obviously, Alabama is a team that can get out running fast and well, but
but
Texas
Texas
Tech
Tech is
is
a two
really good.
seed or 1 seed,
They're really
not a
good this year.
3.
I can't lean Alabama, who has some bad losses on the season, over Texas Tech whatsoever. We're going Texas Tech.
All right, now I have picked Davidson in a couple of my brackets. However, I know Connor's got Duke winning it all, and I'm not going against.
It's
I'm
not
not
even
going to ruin his day
50-50.
by trying to start something here.
You got
So
no
we're going to take
argument.
Duke. They really are the better team. I like Davidson, but they do have a very weak opponent as a 7
Okay,
seed.
Davidson are extremely fast. They grab rebounds fast and they run it
Duke
down
is
court.
very good in
Duke,
transition.
Coach
I think.
K's system is if you get something working on offense, you go back to it every play until they can stop it.
Exactly.
Davidson on a team that's gonna make an adjustment and stop it. Duke's gonna find their rhythm, get a few plays going that are just
And then
gonna
shoot threes
destroy Davidson.
all day long. So I got Duke as well.
On to the East.
Now, again, like I think that North Carolina, for as strong of a team as they may be,
Gotta go Baylor.
Baylor's on another level.
Gotta go Baylor. I agree.
I gotta go Baylor.
It
All
should be a
right.
close match, closer than expected, but I go
Yeah,
Baylor.
yeah. Because again, I think North Carolina plays well. I wouldn't be surprised if they win. Actually, I would, but I wouldn't be like super surprised.
Okay.
This next one, like, it's tough, but I really have to take UCLA.
Okay, but you said I got the next 50-50. Because I'm in on St. Mary's.
No, Connor, you're
I'm in
taking
on
St.
St. Mary's.
Mary's?
St. Mary's is lockdown defense. They locked Chet Holmgren in a cage. You don't think
I
they can
love
do the
okay.
same to Johnny
No, but I
Choosing,
said you get the next 50-50. I'm a man of my word. We're
I
gonna take
I
St.
really
Mary's,
think they're gonna win here. I mean,
much to my chagrin. But Connor, he does know his stuff. I have to give him credit. Um, Longhorns Boilermakers.
are we shouting out Josh Yee on this one? Jaden
No,
Ivey's a
because Purdue
beast,
always disappoints me, and it's their turn
but
to
disappoint
prove
this
me wrong.
early against Texas with some very questionable losses this year. It's Big
So they're either
12.
going to disappoint us this round or next round. So it's your choice. Because if we pick them to win, they're going to lose against Texas.
I think we pick them here. We have them lose against Kentucky or Murray State. Um,
Now,
I
Connor, I
like
just
Murray
want.
State, but I gotta go Purdue here. Texas has not come up big in their biggest games
I agree. I mean,
consistently.
Purdue usually goes out in the third round, not the second. So, for what it's worth.
Okay. I'm in on
Kentucky,
Murray
Murray
State.
State.
18 straight. They're going 24 straight to win the
No,
championship.
I don't know. I like Kentucky.
I like Kentucky too, but a new coach who doesn't have
And
that much
someone's got to stop
experience,
that streak. All right, you know what?
someone's got to stop the streak.
Hey,
Is it
hey, hey,
Kentucky with a
hey,
new
hey, hold on,
coach,
hold on, hold on.
not as much
It's March
experience?
Madness. And you know what happens in March Madness? Crazy shit. So you know what we're gonna do? We're taking Murray State. I don't care.
I mean,
We're
we're
taking Murray
talking
State.
Kentucky. You're talking Oscar
You think they're gonna stop at 20? They're
Fwisby,
gonna stop at
whatever.
19 and not get to 20? They're getting to 20.
I can't
But they're getting
pronounce his last name, but he's having one of the like a Zion or Tim Duncan or Luca Garza type campaign. Um, like the way he plays everything.
so we're
They get a
taking
lot
Murray.
of offensive rebounds, but how you gonna get off? How you gonna get rebounds when your opposing team's not missing? Your opposing team's not missing. Murray State's not missing.
Matt,
They haven't
no,
missed for
hey, I
19
can't pull down the board. What
games.
do you want me to do? I can't pull it down. What do you want to pull it? It's in the hoop.
We're going Murray
Murray
State.
State.
We're having fun. Just give me 1 second so I can switch the
All
bracket
right.
over.
Now, Connor, you know there is no way we're taking TCU over Arizona.
I think TCU have a good chance at this, but
I don't
I
care if
agree.
they have a good
I
chance.
agree that Arizona is a strong
Arizona
team,
is a better team, and I'm not
uh,
saying that because I picked them.
especially not having like the superstar guys. Arizona has done an amazing job.
And also,
Um,
I'm not even sure that TCU is going to be that team that's going to make it. I mean, we did flip a coin, literally, to decide who's going to win that game. So, I think Arizona.
fair enough.
All
I
right,
gotta go to
UAB.
Illinois. UAB we picked because we need a 12 seed to win. They're good,
That's true,
but
and Houston's weak.
once again, who's stopping Kofi Coburn
Nobody.
inside?
All right, next one, Vols over Colorado, easy.
Yeah, I have to agree. They're a great team this year, Tennessee. We'll go
All right,
Tennessee.
Nova versus Ohio State.
I really want to take Ohio State here, but I don't
Like
know
I
if I
think
can.
Ohio State they did well last year, didn't they?
Yeah, they did do,
They're
and
a bit weaker this year.
we haven't taken a 7/10 seed to make the third round yet. We haven't had a 2 seed upset, and I don't think we're gonna have an
We
Auburn
just took
upset.
Murray State. What are you
That's not
talking
a
about?
2 seed upset.
7-2. Yes, it is.
Oh, whoops! I thought
We
Purdue
just
was
took
the 2 seed.
it. We just
Let's
took
take
a 7
another one. Okay,
I like Nova though. I just don't think
in the
Nova goes
in the
out this. I think
tournament
they make it through
with
Tennessee. I just
Gillespie
don't think
on the
it's
floor,
time.
Villanova's good. That team is bad with him off the floor. They are nothing without him on the floor.
All right, Connor, I'll defer to you. You want to take Ohio
Hey,
State
may
too?
I just don't see someone stop on Villanova stopping EJ Liddell.
I don't know. I just like no. I think they're a very consistent tournament team.
EJ
That's what I like.
Liddell disappointed last year and got death threats from Ohio State fans. He's not disappointing again.
Okay, that won your argument right there. That won it. That won it.
um, I are we doing a 1 seed upset here? We
Nah, because I
could.
think they lose to Iowa in the
You
next
think so?
round. Yeah, I don't think San Diego State that's good. I think they're good, but not
You
good to
think
be the one.
Kansas is better?
I think Kansas is better because
Yeah.
I think they're gonna. I think they're gonna lose to Iowa in the next round.
Okay. Iowa, South Dakota State. This will be such a fun matchup. Oh my
It
god.
will,
I am
and I honestly
praying for
think
this
that
to
if you're making
happen.
a bunch of brackets, you got to have Jackrabbits going to play Kansas in that third round.
Yeah, because they could have a game where they go 15 to
They could
15
have
from
a game
three.
where they put up, 140 points.
But
However,
Iowa also is that crazy
Iowa's just
team
that
that you're
car.
not
That
expecting to
Iowa's
be
that
there.
team. They're that team. I have them winning it all
They're
in
the
one of my
Shabazz
brackets, so
Napier UConn team.
I got Iowa. I think we already alluded to this. I think we both decided that Wisconsin would beat LSU just because
Yeah,
lack of a coach. I mean, that's just gonna be tough against a good Wisconsin team coming off of big wins
yeah. No
in that Big Ten
coach,
tournament.
high turnover rate, bad shooting from three. You got to lean Risco. Um,
Wisco
Now you're going to have the matchup between Mobley and Jabari Smith. I
again.
think
I don't think we can pick 3 7 seeds to be
no,
twos, Connor.
and if we're talking that matchup, those are the two stars. I heavily lean Jabari Smith. He's been incredible this year.
Agreed. By the way, Celtics just started their game against Golden State. Just for
I
everyone.
have it up on my other screen.
Steph Curry needs to have a bad shooting night. Thank you very much.
Draymond's back. Do you see that? Do you see the statistic? Let me see if I
Oh, I
can
know the
find it. I have it
statistics
in
for
my camera
Draymond.
roll.
It's insane.
Let's
It's
take a
insane.
quick break because we're at it. We're at the round end anyways. Let me find this thing.
Meanwhile, I will be on Twitter. We will be coming out with
Okay.
free agency videos
Steph
soon enough.
Curry last night. This is their game when Draymond was back. With and out without Draymond. Draymond only played like 18 minutes. 15 minutes with Draymond on the court. Steph Curry made 41 points of 13 of 16 from the field and 7 of 9 from three. Without Draymond Green on the court, Steph Curry had 6 points in 20 minutes, 3 of 9 from the field, 0 of 5 from three. Draymond Green's the most important player on that team, and he's about to destroy my Celtics, but I still think we can win because he's still on a minute restriction. Yeah. Right, Michael?
Um, I just wanted to say that I have no idea why. So, first off, some of these free agency moves have been ridiculous. Why you would sign Chandler Jones, who had one good game, and release Yannick Ngakoue is beside. I got no clue. Um, I have
Dinwiddie
no
made
clue.
another game winner. He just did it against the Celtics. I did it again against the Nets.
Luca.
No, Dinwiddie.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. All right, Connor. Let's get back to it.
Back to the third round, Sweet 16. Here
All
we
right.
go. Gonzaga is
Again,
beating UConn.
yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Zag over UConn,
Yep. Gonzaga over UConn. Here is the
and
toughie. Whoever wins
this
this
is
is
this is
upsetting
probably the best
Gonzaga.
matchup that we have.
Whoever wins this is beating Gonzaga. We can already put that in if we want to.
Yeah,
um,
I
I
agree.
I just think that the talent Texas
I
Tech
think the
play
talent of
together
Duke
well.
is and it's Coach K's last season.
Hmm.
I have to
The
go Duke.
overall talent of Duke
Well,
is so
listen,
good.
watching Duke in person was the most fluid, best, greatest basketball game I've ever seen in my. It was remarkable. It was. I've never
Also,
seen anything like it, folks.
Texas Tech is incredible at home, and they strive off the energy to and like steals fans go crazy. Duke has probably the most fans out of any college basketball team.
Oh. You don't think that arena is gonna be packed with Duke fans in Coach K's potential last game? They're gonna be
Yeah,
there alternate.
we're going Duke. 1-2. That's probably our only 1-2. It is our only 1-2, right?
It's definitely gonna be our only one too.
Yeah. Let me go down here. We got Baylor, St. Mary's. Do we continue it?
I gotta take Baylor, honestly. I just don't think St. Mary's that. I'm not in
You don't
love with
think
them.
they're
I
that
mean, are
good? We
you
have them.
really that in love with them?
I they were they were good this year. They were really, really good this year.
That's your
They
argument.
held
They
Gonzaga
were
under
good this
60
year.
points. They held Gonzaga under 60 points.
But was that once? How many times?
They held them under 60 once and then held them to 60 another time.
I mean, the odds aren't terrible. I'll say that. Like they're not
No,
that bad.
I mean, Baylor's a top seed. Baylor's
And I
off a
do
national championship, but they
like
have a
it's definitely
completely
gonna be
different team.
it's gonna be tough on the boards, right? Offensive rebound, defensive. Like Baylor's great at offensive rebounding, and St. Mary's is great at defensive rebounding. Um, but I think that Baylor's just
Okay.
a bigger team,
The
bigger
thing,
and better.
they both have no superstars. Baylor has 6 players averaging double digits, or averaging 8 or more. St. Mary's has 4 players averaging double digits. Um, we can pick Baylor if you really want to pick Baylor. I like the
You want to
St.
flip a
Mary's
coin?
run, um, because now we're going to the
Hold on,
Boilermakers.
hold on, hold on. Wait. Why don't we flip? Because we're seems like we're pretty much a tie. Because I'm okay with picking St. Mary's.
No,
I'm okay with picking.
I don't know. This is such a the East is tough. The
All
East
right.
could
So
have
we're
like
doing
5 teams
for
to make it to the
Baylor,
Final Four.
for Baylor and St. Mary's.
We're
Baylor's
flipping a
gonna be
coin.
heads, and St. Mary's is gonna be tails. So it
Flip
came
a
out
coin,
tails
Michael.
last time.
Flip a coin. Let's do it.
Tails for Columbus St.
Wow.
Mary's.
The tails never
Listen,
fails, Michael.
I don't argue with that coin. Not arguing with it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. 20 in a
Listen.
row. 20 in a row.
Well, this will be 21.
Will this be? Well, they're at 18 now. Yeah, it'd be 21 in a row. Just beat
Purdue
Kentucky.
disappoints. This is
This
not their
this
year.
would be crazy. St. Mary's, Murray State, Elite Eight. Are we doing it?
I don't like. I don't trust Purdue. That's the
Purdue
thing. I
always
don't trust.
loses in the third round. That's their excuse. They're gonna do it again.
I
It's
love
in their
Ivy though.
blood.
That's tough.
It's in their blood.
Like it's tough. Ivy's good.
But
I don't
yeah,
know,
Ivy's
man.
good. Murray
Ivy's
State's
like
better. 20 in a row.
State's better. Let's go, Murray State. Woo! 21.
21. Are we going 22? St. Mary, Murray State? We got it right. We got it right.
Probably at this point.
All right. Let me.
Arizona.
1 second. Let me pull it up.
Yep, take your time. Honestly,
Here
again,
we go.
I don't love Illinois. I think they're a good team. I think they're a strong team. I think they're a great team.
We can go Arizona. You really like
That's
Arizona. I lean Illinois. I think Kofi Coburn has had an incredible season, but they could get him in foul trouble. Let's say Arizona gets him in foul trouble and Arizona takes him down.
Arizona hasn't been the tournament forever. They're gonna take it home.
We're doing
Take it
Tennessee here,
home.
right?
All right, Tennessee.
Another
Yeah,
one.
yeah.
This one, another foul trouble game. What are with these refs in the Sweet 16? EJ
ACC
Liddell.
refs suck.
EJ Liddell has
ACC.
fouls, and Tennessee just take it away, run with it. I
um.
think Tennessee's the better team, anyways.
All right, Iowa over Kansas.
1 second. Yeah, I think this is a close one. I definitely think Kansas is the better team, but Iowa just seems destined for that
Iowa's
run.
just there.
That,
They're there.
like Keegan Murray is exploded this year. His twin
Mhm.
brother exploded this year. They
All right, Wisconsin, Auburn.
Okay. Are we going Iowa?
I
For sure, Iowa.
for sure Iowa. Yeah,
It's got to be Auburn, right?
that's what I was thinking. I do love. I like Wisconsin,
Yeah, I
but
like the
Auburn's been
Badgers.
much better throughout the
I'm a
season.
big Badgers guy, but yeah, Auburn. Yes, they had a weekend to the season, but only going to fight back stronger. Johnny Davis is great, but is Johnny Davis a decently sized guard who is averaging 9 rebounds really going to be grabbing
And their
rebounds
coach
over
can't
Jabari
fight. Their
Smith?
coach can't fight. Can't take it. Can't win. Can't fight. That tells me you're weak. You're weak. Mentally, physically weak.
Auburn's going to be all over the boards.
All
We'll
over the
take
boards.
Auburn
All over the
here.
rim.
All right, back to Zaga, Duke. Let me
We
pull
know
it up.
Zaga's never winning it, so we're gonna take Duke.
Yeah, I like Duke. I'm fine with Duke. Let's go Duke.
All right,
Coach K
Murray
finale.
State.
We got to do
We're
22
taking.
in a row. St. Mary's again, strong team. We've talked about them. Both of
This
these
is
are.
the toughest matchup I think for me, because I love Arizona.
Are we
And
taking?
Tennessee's
We're
really
for
good.
sure on Murray State. We already buy that.
Oh, I already picked
We're
them.
going 22, 22 in a row.
Well,
How
I
can you
mean, when I
stop them?
stop at
How can
20,
anyone stop them? We're gonna have Duke
well,
stop
Duke will.
'em.
Duke will.
They'll be happy with that. They'll be
They'll
happy
be
with that.
content with just 22.
I have that right. I have no idea if I had that right. I can just do this. This works. We're going Arizona, Tennessee. I like Tennessee better, but if you think Arizona's got it, but has
I just
Arizona
think
ever
that
clutched up like
Arizona's.
that? I mean, let's talk about Arizona's big wins this year. Yes, Tommy Lloyd from Gonzaga. Also,
I just don't trust
Gonzaga
Tennessee.
coach. Gonzaga coach. Is a Gonzaga coach really going to win it?
He's not with
Um,
Gonzaga. He's shed. Gonzaga coaches traditionally are very good
okay.
until they get late in the tournament. He's not with Gonzaga anymore. He's not that. He ripped that patch off. He threw it away. Kept that coaching.
But I mean, the NCAA doesn't want them to win. You can't have a team that just got hammered by the NCAA and infractions and everything to make it to the Final Four, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Um, I
But we
mean,
know we have to end with Arizona versus Duke because
do
that's
you
the
do
teams that we
you do you
picked.
really want to? Do you really think Arizona wins this?
Listen, I believe that Arizona will win this. I believe that listen, I have full faith in Arizona. However, listen, I
Okay,
can't not take them to the Final Four.
who's the better team, Michael?
I don't know. Whichever team is wearing red and blue.
Tennessee's the better team.
I know
Tennessee
that.
is reliving the Grant Williams days with Kennedy
Okay.
Chandler.
All right. Let me explain this to you. Wildcats are a shooting and scoring team. They suck at defense. I get it. They're bad. They're bad at defense, but they're great at offense. You know what? That Vols
So
defense and
so
Volunteers
so who
defense,
is stopping Kennedy Chandler?
the refs.
Did
Uh.
okay?
All right.
Are you
Let me give
taking
you a statistic.
Arizona
Connor,
over
let me give
Auburn?
you a statistic. No finals ever, or at least in the past like 5 or 10 years, hasn't had a one seed. Arizona is only one seed left. So
So
you're
let's
telling
do
me
it. Let's do it.
no, Zona over them
Can we can we
Bulls.
flip a coin?
We'll flip a coin when we get to Duke, Arizona.
Like I can't in the right mind take Arizona here.
We're taking
Oh
Arizona
my
over.
God, they're just not it. They're
They
not it.
are it. All right.
Iowa Auburn.
Iowa Auburn.
Does the miracle run end here, Michael? We already
I
have
think it
another
does.
miracle run in Arizona who
I
really
think
should
it
be
does. I
there,
do.
so we can take Auburn.
I like Auburn. I think that Auburn is the better team. I don't think Iowa has enough gas to get through Auburn. I think the Jayhawks probably are weaker. I think Auburn making it through this tournament, making it through the teams they played, I think they'll be very strong at this point. I'm gonna take Auburn. What about you?
Final four. I'm good with Auburn.
All right. Obviously, we're taking Duke, and obviously, we're taking Arizona.
Are we really taking Arizona over Auburn? Let's just
Yes.
talk about let's just talk about this, Michael.
Well, hold on. We picked Duke over Murray State. Their miracle run ends.
Sadly, are we keep?
Okay, but Auburn really isn't that good. I know I just said they were that good, but they're
Okay,
really not that
they are that good.
good. They're really
Jabari
not.
Smith was the best player
They could
in
lose
the
in the
league.
first round against Jacksonville State. Like I wouldn't
No,
even be surprised. They're not even that good.
Michael. You can't
Auburn's
have
got
two miracle
Arizona's
runs.
got a team
I
unity.
I know. Okay, if we take Arizona here, which they would not, who is stopping Auburn? Who on that team? You said they don't play defense, so they have Jabari Smith, Walker Kessler, Wendell Green, Cade
Okay, but we look at
Johnson.
Auburn. Listen, the Volunteers are a better defensive team, but they don't. Auburn doesn't shoot the three well, and that for me in
Who cares
NCAA,
if you
that's
can't
wrong.
shoot the
Three well.
free well if you're demolishing the team
Okay, let
inside the
me give
paint?
you the statistic. No
Demolishing.
team, every single finals in the past 5 or 10 years, has had a one seed in it. So you telling me you want two seeds? That's not going to happen. A 1 to 2, that definitely could happen. That definitely could happen.
Okay, how about we go back, take Tennessee, do a 2 versus 3 seed?
I'll let you
If
take Duke in the finals if you let me take Arizona
Fine,
here.
fine. You can have Arizona, who will not beat Tennessee. The Grant Williams curse will be upon Arizona, and they would not beat Tennessee, but we'll have them in the finals, and we'll take Duke for a tiebreaker score of what, Michael?
um,
84-42.
Fine. I mean, at the end of the day, here's what I
Let's
have to
enter
say.
the
At the end of the
tournament.
day, listen, brackets are fun to do, and
Can I name it? I can't name it. I was gonna name it.
Um, save my picks.
Submit
Listen, at the end of the
picks.
day, I think what's really key is that
What's it?
we have to understand that in terms of brackets, Connor and I both really don't know what's going to happen, right? And at the end of the day, what we went through tonight, we were just trying to what we thought was most likely going to happen. Obviously, there's some scenarios where we were just having fun with it, and when you say, "Oh, well, Murray State's not going to go on a run. They're not going to beat, they're not going to beat Kentucky. They're not going to beat Purdue, and they're not going to beat Baylor in a row." And some people will say that, but this is March Madness, and crazier things have happened all the time.
Oh,
And
fuck.
so what I want people to take away from this most importantly is that first off, I'm going for a perfect bracket, but it's not gonna happen. And it's
All right.
never gonna happen.
I just made an account, by the way, under the master plan, a name in
Oh,
ESPN's
you
master
did?
plan, and we submitted the
Oh,
picks.
oh, but this actually under the master plan.
The name is master plan with no
Thank you.
address,
Thank
so a code is going to be shipped to someone.
you.
Because
But
obviously we got 100%,
listen, as much research as Connor did and
and that
I
Michael didn't
did,
listen to.
listen, I probably I could have brackets that are way better than Connor's. You know why? Because
Because
March
it's
Madness
March
is
Madness.
crazy, and it's not analytical. It's not something where you can look at the analytics, or you can look at the stats, or you can look at the way teams play, and you can say with absolute certainty that a certain team is going to win because every single seed has beat every single seed, and we're at the point where college basketball is crazy, and I think this year has been just as crazy. There's been a lot of upsets, a lot of crazy wins, a lot of crazy losses, and so even teams that we didn't touch on a lot tonight definitely have the potential to win this whole thing, right? Obviously, some less than others, right? But it remains a fact that this is hard and this isn't easy, and there's no perfect way to do it. No matter ESPN Plus subscription, you watch every single college basketball game, whatever, it doesn't really matter because what happens is it's tournament time, and March Madness is March Madness for a reason. Crazy stuff always happens. And so hopefully Connor and I got the perfect bracket tonight. Um, maybe not, probably not, but who knows? It's
Shout out,
fun.
shout out Steph Curry for having 3 turnovers in the first half of the quarter against the Celtics.
And shout out Zach Light. Seriously, I hope he gets some minutes versus Wisconsin. That would be pretty sick.
Is that if they're
Um,
down a bunch?
well, hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're up by a bunch and he gets minutes.
Maybe he'll start
Um,
Michael.
huh?
Maybe they'll just start him. He's the
They
he's the
might they
hidden
might
the
put him
hidden
on.
weapon. The hidden weapon, Michael.
Well, I mean, he's white and Jewish, so you never know.
Is he shooting the 3 ball? 50%?
I've seen him in practice. He shoots a three ball, but I ain't seen him in a real game. Except for Anyways, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for tuning in. Connor, what were our total numbers?
Um,
Probably pretty low, I would assume.
you want to know that?
Just say it. Why
You got
not?
you got one viewer.
No, but like overall total.
Yeah,
One?
one. It's probably
How is
you.
it one? Because I'm watching.
Yeah, it
So
was probably you.
nah, I don't believe that.
We got
There's
one
got to be
view,
someone
Michael.
else.
One view and one
There's got
like,
to be someone
Michael.
else. There's got to be someone else watching because I know a cool was in the chat, so it had to be more than one.
Well, then he counted as view. Maybe you're on. Are you on the account?
No, I am on my
Okay,
own.
it
I'm on my own.
says one. Maybe it's just broken and we got a million. Okay, we
Yeah,
just
maybe we got a million. If we do, if we have a chance, if we do have a million, thank you everyone for
if we
listening. Thank
do
you
have a
for tuning
million,
in.
just know
Obviously,
I don't think Arizona will even make the Final Four.
I don't like you right now. I don't like that. Thank you all for listening. It's been a lot of fun. March Madness is gonna be a lot of fun to watch. I'm ready. Connor's ready. Make sure you download the CBS app on your phone and on your computer. Get those free 8 hours and use them up. Use them up.
I
And
used to
make
use
sure,
them. I used to use them in Descon. You remember that, Michael?
dude, I use them in DesCon too. That was awesome. That was awesome. We use them in DesCon. I was watching in Bio in sophomore year. No matter where you are, everyone in school at the end of the day all gathers around. Yo, did you see this team win? Blah, blah, blah. Every year. Every
Shout
year.
out
So
Daniel Teffy. Texas Tech won 2 years ago. He would have won the tournament picking randomly.
Daniel Teffy was pretty goated at March Madness. I
Beast.
do have to admit. He was
Probably the only person that had Texas Tech winning in that whole like 200 kid bracket.
they're running it again this year, by the way. I don't know if you saw that.
I was in it every year so far. I don't know. I stopped
You
bet.
do
I
it again
used to
this year?
bet
You
with
should.
Nate, and then I stopped betting with Nate. So
You should do it again this year. I think it's gonna be fun. It's on. They have an Instagram,
I have an Instagram.
Weston MA. You pull it up.
I'll text Nate.
It's
I'll
not
see
as
if I can
big,
get in.
which is surprising, but I don't know. I might join. I might not. I haven't decided yet. But anyways, thank you all for listening to a stream that was only supposed to be an hour and a half, and it went to 2 hours. An hour to an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Thank you to Connor for
it went
taking the
over.
extra time. We didn't go over by as
We
much
didn't
as I
go
thought we
over.
would.
Eh, decent amount. We went through those picks fast. We didn't really explain them, but just go to the beginning and see our analysis for each team, and then you can
Well,
kind of
what I
apply it.
figured is our analysis at the beginning would serve for our picks going
Yeah,
forward.
and even we explained some of those matchups as well later.
Except for the Arizona ones, because
Because Michael's a biased cheater.
I am proud to be biased. I got $1 on Arizona to win it all this year. Let's go.
What's their odds? Like plus
Oh no, it's just a
1600?
bet, and it's literally I bet that Arizona would win, and he said that Gonzaga would win. If any other team wins, it's.
So you're
it's
saying the
mucked.
dollar is just nothing
It's a
should
gentleman's
happen
bet.
to it.
The gentleman's bet.
It's not like who gets
And
further.
and I know no gets further. Just win it all.
So by the way, the big teams that Arizona beat, like Michigan, their big
Stop
Michigan
the
win,
stream.
their
Stop
big
the
Michigan,
stream.
their
Stop the...
big USC win, their big UCLA win. I don't think we had any of those teams
Okay,
making it past the
UCLA is
second
good.
round.
Okay,
We didn't have any
UCLA
of
is
those
good.
teams making it past the second round.
All right,
All right,
UCLA is good.
I'm gonna join that bracket group. I'm gonna have Murray State win it all, 23 straight.
Thank you all for listening to another YouTube stream of the Master Plan. And you know what? We may be back in April. Just keep an eye out for
Definitely
that.
gonna be back in April.
Definitely. But if you get this far, you'll know that. If
NFL
not,
drafts are a best stream,
oh, it always is. It always is.
easily.
Thank you all for listening. Have a great night.
And we're out.
Damn.